Okay, so this course is about IP surgery. It's basically a 2 days course. It's supposed to be quite practical and workshop-based course. Very intensive, I would say, and it just kind of gives the idea overall about how the inventors and researchers can develop and manage their IP throughout the process. Just making sure that they understand what are the critical IP issues that could arise out of their research work, how could they manage better, how could they actually integrate patent understanding and patent researching into their research and development goals so that they could introduce their products and technology out in the market more securely and more successfully as well in the future. Yeah. So I think the participants are very, they have a lot of questions, so it's good. I keep them engaged. They are very, they have strong participation, and want to understand more about what IP can do to actually help them in their research works. So I think it's good because I want to make it practical for them as much as possible and try to listen to what they have to say and what their issues are. So it tends to be two-way, and I think that's good. This is the purpose of the whole course, is to make it as practical for them as possible. So I would say I would like to suggest a lot of the inventors at the university here to somewhat participate maybe in the future events. I think IP would become even more critical issues, and I think the success of a lot of the research to commercialization would be related to how well you can manage your intellectual property and intangible assets. So by participating in this type of course, whether there's going to be a next batch of IP surgery course or more intensive or more longer courses, I think they're all going to benefit them to really help them to identify some of the IP matters that could affect their research, from ideation to development to protection and commercialization. And that's how I want to make this type of workshop kind of related to them throughout the whole process of research and development. Yeah. I'm sure you might have a lot of good ideas about what you want to do with your research. You probably have a lot of very critical innovations, that you're doing, whether in your own lab or, together with your partners, whether partnering universities or companies that you actually co-develop your research with. So there's going to be a lot of IP-related issues and matters that you have to be aware of. So I think that by really trying to understand how to manage IP in the holistic way is very important, not only from the practitioner point of view, but from the researcher point of view, as you have to gain access to more funding, you have to gain access to more private companies. So I think that by coming and participating in this type of workshop, I'm sure that a lot of you would probably have a good understanding. I guess the question was about what can they get from this, right? In a way, I think it's about understanding correctly about intellectual property, why it matters in their research, why it's important. It's also about practically learning by doing. So we're going to teach them about doing their own patent draft, doing patent research, understand how to use patent information to develop something that actually novel and applicable in the business world as well. So it's not just a legal lesson that you're going to learn, but also we're going to try to integrate the business and strategic mindset to help them to become more successful in the business and commercial sector as well. Yeah.
Okay, so it gain many data and detail that help us to work and facilitate when we have to support for the researcher or the lecturer that came to us and asked us in many detail for the patent applications. So by this course is quite benefit a lot for the people who supporting for this area. I strongly recommend for everyone who join in this course, no matter what, that they are quite beginner in this field or they are expert advanced, that they have registered for the patent or any IP registration before. So I'm quite recommend for this course, for this event.
I think it was a very useful training because they gave a lot of practical examples, go through all the different steps in intellectual property, the patent, other things, and also have practical examples. So yeah, for me it was a very good introduction and learning the different steps, and it's a good stepping stone if you want to proceed by yourself and try and apply for different IPs or patents. Actually, I work in the laboratories. I develop analytical methods. So it might not be very applicable for me right now, but when I'm working and if I get an idea that I can do a spin-off on, that maybe develop to a certain products, then I know how to protect my intellectual property, what I need to do early on in the research to reserve the space for patents and so on for me before anyone else can claim that position, so to say. Yeah. I think the course content was very good, and the trainer was very open for all the questions and had a good experience to explain different angles and everything that we asked him about. So I was also a very good course. Yeah, definitely if you want to know how to start with protecting your intellectual property, when to do it, how to do it, and then develop for a patent and the different steps for final products. I think this is a very good basic course to learn all those steps.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I have experience for doing patent, but maybe it's different from this because this is like a more detail. I just do like my patent is about antibodies, so it's not kind of like a patent search or doing so many detail like this. So I think for this, it's very just like opened my idea to do like another patent in the future. Okay, this workshop is kind of very important for the researcher because in the future the researchers have to be like doing something new, and the patent is very important for them. It's kind of to protect their work, and maybe if you would like to do like product in the commercialization, so this is very important for you, and you have to know what is the process to do the patent. Yes.
Yeah, this was a very useful workshop for me. As scientists, we often do not know the details of the processes that we need to do to make sure that what we create in the research environment can have a future with a potential commercial purpose. And what was, I think, most useful was talking to someone who does this every day as a job. And so this way we know the obstacles from the start, and we can plan our projects from the beginning to focus on what the possibilities will be maybe a few years ahead in commercialization, and how to structure and everything so that we will not have these problems in the future, and we can anticipate them and make sure that our work translates into something that is useful and potentially commercially viable.